How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Rads. Today let's talk Nottingham Forest in the transfer window. Do this every Monday, of course. I will continue to do this for the rest of the transfer window. There's been 2 new signings this week, finally. Every week there's not actually been any proper signings to talk about besides Scarpa, but that actually happened in December. So it's nice to have some actual activity to talk about. And of course, they've both already played for Forest, and we're going to get into this in this video, as well as plenty of rumours, however likely they are to happen, and I think I should mention them. So let's get into it. If you do enjoy this, hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new. Greatly appreciated. Let's get to 5k subscribers as soon as possible, and let's discuss this, shall we? So I mentioned this last week, and it was on the brink of happening when I did that video. And of course, I've since done a video about this player in a lot of detail. So if you want to go and check that out after this video, then there's a link to it up here, all about Delineo. Right, I want to apologise again for saying Delino wrong. It's not Delineo. You know, it's not spelled Rolandinho, is it? Or Enio at the end of his name. It's Delino. So apologies for that. Our new signing from Palmeiras, the second signing from Palmeiras, 21-year-old defensive midfielder for £18 million. He's already made his debut against Bournemouth off the bench. He looks a different class, he really does. And as I was saying in my video I did about him, as good as our midfield options are, we did need to sign someone young and someone that could fit in that defensive midfield role. And I really think Delineo is going to be that player. If we look at the rest of the signings that we've made, I said the one of the signings that we've made, Chris Wood. Now, I wasn't sure about this one. This has literally just come out in the last week. It hadn't even been linked when I did this video last week. And it all happened quite quick, which tells me that it probably was a Steve Cooper signing. I don't know why people go on about that so much, but I think we can probably guarantee that this was one of those, because he was in straight away against Bournemouth, probably didn't even train. So this is why it's harsh that people can criticise him for his performance against Bournemouth, because he had never trained. He had never even trained with us. So you've got to allow him that. And he's got 2 weeks now to settle into the club, because he can't play against United both games because he's cut-tied. So I think we should really see good things from Chris Wood. He's not a long-term option. You know, he's not the most exciting player or the most exciting signing, but he'll do the job. We need a striker. Tyro's going to be out for a while, which is gutting. I love Super Sam Surridge, but we need someone else as well. And obviously, you know, Johnson and Gibbs White sometimes play up front together, but we need an out-and-out number 9 besides the 2 number 9s we've got in Sam and Awani. And I think Chris Wood is quite a safe option. It's only a loan, and if he does well, we can buy him. And this is the thing, we've got 3 players on loan now. Last season we had 5 on loan, but none of them we had the option to buy, and that didn't mean that we couldn't go and get them, of course. But this season we've got 3 on loan, and 2 of them we've already got that clause in there saying that we can buy them if we want to. But we're going to get onto the goalkeeper situation next. But before I do, there's one outgoing that's happened in the last week. Nothing too major. Youngster Dale Taylor has gone on loan to Burton Albion in League One, 19 years of age, a striker. For the rest of the season, a really smart move. Burton are struggling in League One, they're currently 23rd. And, you know, he's already played for Northern Ireland, this lad. I've seen him play live a couple of times in pre-season. I've not seen him in the League Cup, actually. In pre-season, he was on the bench, actually, against Crystal Palace in the league, which was a bit of a shock. But he's a really good player, really exciting player. Holds up the ball really well, very confident on the ball as well. He's pretty versatile, he can play out wide. I mentioned him in a video I did last year about our youth academy in more detail, and yeah, I really like Dale Taylor. Good move for him, and hopefully he can benefit from it. Okay, so on to rumours in. A lot of these probably won't happen, but they're all rumours. But 3 of them are goalkeepers, which really isn't too much of a surprise given the Dean Henderson situation. It kind of alludes me to believe that Henderson is out for longer than we were being reported, which is gutting, because I love Dino and I don't want his time at Forest to end because of an injury and then he just gets recalled by United, or he just doesn't play for the rest of the season, and then, you know, we just wave goodbye to him like that. I think that's a very sad way for him to go out. Hopefully he doesn't. But the main reason why I say that is because of the calibre of goalkeepers we're linked with. We're linked with very good goalkeepers, and goalkeepers that you wouldn't necessarily want to be backups, or they wouldn't want to be backups. And we'll start with the big one, really, Keylor Navas. I've gone from doing these transfer roundups, particularly the January window, Talking about Adama Diakabi and Nuno da Costa and Gaisang Bong in one window. And here we are signing 2 Brazilians, a proven Premier League player in Chris Wood, and potentially a 3-time Champions League winning goalkeeper. How times have changed in 3 years. Over 100 appearances for PSG and Real Madrid. That's individually for those 2 clubs. He's been second choice this season for PSG behind Donnarumma, obviously one of the best keepers in the world right now. He is 36, but even at 36, I think a player like Navas will want to be first choice. He's being linked with Bournemouth and Leicester as well. He is interested in a move to the Premier League apparently, so it's reported. But I just think even at 36, Navas, particularly coming to, let's be honest, a mid-table bottom half club in Forest, he'll want to start. So, I mean, it's an unbelievable option, isn't it? You know, Navas and Dean Henderson. Who would have thought we would have had 2 goalkeepers of that calibre at the same time? But I just don't know how it would work. His wages would be really high as well. And as great as he is, I still think he's a great goalkeeper. He only played last week in that friendly match between PSG and the Saudi Arabian All-Stars team. But if you look at it, Hennessy's 36, Navas is 36. It doesn't at all solve the issue of having a goalkeeper on the bench that's very, he's at the end of his career. Even for a goalkeeper, 36 is quite old. But even so, when it comes to the calibre of keeper, I just feel he's too high. Is that a weird thing to say? But based off the player we have in front of him, I just don't know how it would work. But I don't know whether it will happen or not, because we're also linked with this guy, which I'd much prefer, if I'm honest. Dominik Livakovic, Croatia's #1 goalkeeper at the World Cup, as they defied the odds yet again, reaching the semi-finals, getting 3rd place this time at the World Cup. Honestly, Croatia's story is incredible, but Livakovic played a big part in that. He was the goalkeeper in 2 penalty shootouts at the same World Cup, and Croatia won both of them against Japan and Brazil, the mighty Brazil. And he made some great saves in those shootouts and throughout the tournament. He's 28, so he's a lot more long-term than what Navas would be, and he would probably cost less. I don't know how much Navas would cost, if I'm honest. But 10 million euros is what's being reported for the Dinamo Zagreb goalkeeper. This would be fantastic, it really would. It would still be a similar issue in terms of having 2 fantastic keepers and both of them will want to start. And this is a good thing, it's healthy competition, but at the same time, if you've got 2 really world-class players in one position, I'm not calling Henderson world-class or even Livakovic world-class, but 2 very good players in one position, eventually one of them's going to get bored of being on the bench. So, and I think particularly as a goalkeeper, you got far less of a chance of playing. So, I don't know how that would work, but I love our ambition, as per always. I prefer Livakovic, but speaking of goalkeepers, there's still one more keeper we're being linked with. I'm not too sure if this is going to happen, but it's worth a mention. Bruno Valera. I think this is the most unlikely of the 3, to be honest, if it's going to happen. 28 years of age, the same as Livakovic. 7 clean sheets in 17 games in the Portuguese division this season. He's previously played for Benfica and Ajax as well, to name a few. He's played for quite a few clubs. Not sure at all what he's like as a player, if I'm entirely honest. He'd probably be more of a suitable backup, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get one of Navas or Livakovic, if I'm honest, when it comes to the goalkeepers. But I think it's pretty obvious we're going to sign another goalkeeper. I think even with Henderson fit, we needed to get one, if I'm honest. The next 2 rumours are rumours that I've spoken about in previous weeks that are still kind of got a bit of air to them and what may potentially happen. Tete, we were talking about this guy last week, playing for Lyon, 22, right winger, 17 million potentially. I believe last week I didn't know how much he'd be linked for, but he's been reported now 17 million would be the price tag, on loan from Shakhtar Donetsk. 3 assists, 6 goals in 17 games this season in the French league. Everton and Leicester also being linked with him. What a shock. Everton linked with one of our players. That doesn't normally happen, or one of the players we want to sign, I should say. He looks a good player, he really does, and Forest do seemingly have quite a bit of interest about this guy. Looking at our options, I've not even shown you, have I, the map that I show you every single week. But looking at it, we may as well take a look now, since I mentioned it. It wouldn't go amiss. It wouldn't go amiss getting another winger, because you've got Jono, Scarpa, Gibbs White's more of an attacking midfielder. He plays as a striker a lot of the time, doesn't he? Lingard, obviously. But then Dennis and Mighton, I don't really think we can be including them because Dennis could leave and Martin isn't really good enough, is he? So I do understand why we're going for a winger. You know, we've gotten Wood, we've gotten Delineo. That solves the striker and defensive midfield issue. And obviously Scarpa's coming to help out in attack and attacking midfield. We're going to get a goalkeeper, and it does look like we're going to get a winger, and that will make it 5 signings for January. That's all I want. I don't really think we should be going past that. In fact, I don't really think we should be signing that many players at all. Let's keep the squad as settled as possible. But looking at the map and what I've just said, I feel, yeah, a goalkeeper and a winger is what we need, and then we're looking very strong, and then we've got all the minerals to go and have a good season, and we're already doing that now, having gelled as a team. But it's a very exciting squad, it really is. We are also being linked with a centre-back, and I think people have kind of forgotten about this position. Maybe we could do with signing a centre-back as well, but I think because of McKenna and Bolly proving people wrong in recent weeks, people are kind of like not quite as bothered about signing a centre-back, but I do still feel it's an area we should be improving. So maybe I'm lying, maybe we should sign 6 players and get a centre-back in. And we're still being linked with Mason Holgate from Everton. I mentioned this in the first week of the transfer window. I'm not too keen, if I'm honest, but there's bonuses to him. He's still pretty young, 26. Cooper makes players better. Yeah, people doubting Wood. Cooper always makes players better. We've seen this happen many times. And, you know, Holgate, he's versatile as well. He can play as a right back. Very, very experienced. And Everton, you know, anyone would struggle at Everton right now. They're unbelievably rotten to the core club, if we're being entirely honest. So get him out of there, maybe he could do alright. And I kind of feel in this case, I wouldn't personally be trying to sign this guy, but if Cooper wants him, then I trust Cooper, and the club wants him to get him in. I don't know how much he'd play, but it's probably quite a safe option. But we'll see what happens with that one. We're also being linked with another Everton player, which does really quite shock me, if I'm honest. Anthony Gordon. Probably one of their very few bright sparks this season. A winger, can play on both sides, 21. He's got 16 appearances this season, 3 goals in that time. I don't really see this happening at all. I don't really care if it does happen, even though we're talking about getting a winger in. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we should sign Gordon? I don't know whether we should. I don't think we will, if I'm honest. I just don't feel it feels like a weird move to me. I don't really understand it. Another forward being linked with, and if I'm honest, I doubt this is going to happen. Now we've signed Chris Wood, and it was linked. This was a link that I saw before we signed Chris Wood. Oscar Estepinian from Hull, 26-year-old striker, 12 goals this season and 1 assist for quite an average Hull City team. It does seem a very random and unambitious signing, and like I say, I highly doubt this is going to happen with the signing of Chris Wood. And he can't even play on the wings, so I'd be very, very surprised if we see this happen. He's played in Portugal, Turkey, Colombia and Spain. He's actually got 87 career goals, which these are good stats, but I just don't really know why I'd be linked with him, and if I'm honest, I've never seen him play. But I just think it's worth mentioning. We have been linked with this guy, but I think it's unlikely. Rumours out, we're still on the periphery of getting rid of Dennis, but who knows what's going to happen there. But again, I'll reiterate about Loic Mbesso. He may be potentially going on loan to Guingamp. There's been another rumour this week that's going to happen. He needs to be loaned out. He's been in the reserves way too much this season, and his whole time at Forest, he's hardly got a run of games ever. So Mbesso needs a loan, and I think this would be a good move going back to his native home. And there's one of the rumours well that I've seen, which has come out just today actually. Aaron Donnelly may very well be going on loan to Port Vale in League One. I really like Donnelly, 19-year-old left back, played for Northern Ireland's youth team, 13th in League One at the moment, Port Vale. Donnelly's a great player, can also play at centre back as well. He's pretty quick, got good vision to his game. He definitely needs a loan though to develop his career further, so that's a good move. And that's pretty much it really. I have seen another report saying that Lyle Taylor and Cafu may be getting moved on this month, which isn't a shock. No clubs in particular being linked to them. But yeah, this is what I'm seeing so far this last week. If I have missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. I try my best to include everything that I think is going to happen, or just anything in general. So if I miss stuff, tag me on Twitter or just let me know in the comments below, and I'll get it in a video each week. But I hope you've enjoyed this, hope you've learned something from it as well. If you have, Hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new, and I will see you very soon for another video. Probably my Man United vlog will be out next in the League Cup semi-finals. Can't believe I'm saying that. And there should be another video this week as well, so stay tuned for everything that's coming up. Hope you've enjoyed. See you very soon, everyone.